beloved, before we start today, can you make sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel? I'm posting new messages and content every week. I don't want you to miss a thing because I believe it'll make a huge difference in your life, in relationships, and your family, just like mine. So how did you start as a dad, right? Let me tell you how I started. I thought my job was to connect to my young son, Edward, through a hobby. So I bought him a little train set, right? And that train set was going around the Christmas tree, and he was happy as a clam. But it wasn't quite good enough. I had to turn that train set into something bigger. Guess what happened? It got bigger, and it turned to a 10 by 10 plywood, switches, remotes, spent a lot of money. My wife's looking at me like I'm crazy. It takes over the whole garage. I remember my wife saying to me one day, I hope you're not spending more money on this train set than you are our house. And I'm going, whoa, no, honey, this is fine. What had happened is that my own identity got tied into making this adventure for my son. But I remember it wasn't about my son. It was about me. I needed to feel good about being a dad and kind of pulled my son into my hobby without even asking him if he really wanted to be there. I think he would have been happy just with the thing going around every Christmas around the Christmas tree, and I had to fill up my entire garage. Have you ever done one of those things? See, we can use anything to fill up the holes in us to feel better about ourselves or as a dad. Right? Like a train set or a hobby or hunting or fishing, blah, blah, blah. We can put all kinds of things in between us, even between us and God. But see, God calls us to be holy. He makes this promise of filling up those holes in our life, those places in our personality where we don't feel good about who we are. And what does the world offer? Well, just go do this, you'll feel great. Go get a Harley, then you'll be a man. Go get a hobby. Maybe those things will really fulfill you. And it's not that those things are bad things, but it's when those things turn into the things that name you that it breaks even more of who you are in your own story. Because it fractures us. Now we have our affections and all these things. And for a lot of dads, guess what happens? We stop loving our kids because we got nothing left. We've got so much into family vacation that just getting on vacation with all our toys and our stuff, it becomes huge because it becomes more about dad getting his identity than about spending time with our kids. But see, God's made us to be this holy people. Matter of fact, in Deuteronomy, it says that you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be his people, and guess what? His treasured possession. I love that line. See, God's plan is to make us complete, whole, holy, a loved human being, where we don't have to try to find identity outside of ourselves. We first find it in him. And guess what? Hobbies that flow out of you knowing who you are is the way God really wants those hobbies to be, not the other way around. So here's your kind of immediate kind of life application. Ask God right now as your Father to show you the places in your life that he has called you to be more whole. Places where God wants you to find healing and your own wholeness in him. Ask him to point out those things in you that will just lead to greater fulfillment in your life by a choice and it's really us choosing to be more like him. Remember, it's not about him condemning you because he has forgiven you through Christ. It's that he wants you to help you act differently, choose differently, and to make your life about what he says about you first, and not you trying to name yourself and find out who you are. If this has blessed you today, would you leave a comment below or a question? I would love to hear from you. And remember, the Father loves you, and he sent his Son to let you know.
I ain't good enough, but he still loves